Okay. Are you, Karen, how does it look on your end?
It looks fine. I mean,
Yeah,
I see what I generally always see. I have the little panel off
yeah.
to the side. Now, to you, do you have tiles in the way?
I do. I'm going to get rid of
I was
those.
going
Well,
to say, and then
they're not really.
you could tell the participants how to hide those.
Well, I think we could control this too.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's just having to bounce between GoToMeeting and Zoom. I keep forgetting where everything is.
You're right, exactly.
Recording already?
No, I didn't hit record.
Somebody's recording.
Who's recording?
I don't know, it says recording in the top left.
Yeah.
Well, it said I can spot. So at the bottom of your screen, you should see Q&A, and please feel free to type your question. But on the right-hand side of your screen, you should see panelists and attendees, and then you see a microphone next to your name. Please feel free to unmute your microphone when you have a question. If you forget to mute it again and there's some background noise, the panelists will probably end up muting you just to keep the interference down. But we love interactive Q&A, questions, chats. Please ask a question. If we know it's something that we're going to cover at some point in the presentation, we'll just ask you to hold your thought, and then we can discuss it at that point, just so we can kind of stick to the plan. But other than that, this is a very casual class, and you're going to learn a lot, and we really do encourage questions. Okay?
Excellent.
Thank you for coming, and you're in good hands with Karen.
Thanks, Trish. So good morning, everybody. My name's Karen. We already had a chance to check out this instruction screen, so we're going to move along. Today is all about Skype, FaceTime, and basically just video chatting. I just want to point out that our website is located at the bottom of the slide, stseco.com. This whole presentation can actually be found on our website. So you can always refer back to it. Feel free to take a picture of the screen if there's something you want to make sure you remember, and I can always go back to a specific slide if you need me to. Also, our email address is here, so any questions you have about this presentation or any other types of technology, feel free to send us an email. We generally will get back to you within the day or two. Okay? So let's get started. So here's what today's agenda is. We're going to talk about what video chatting is. We're going to spend a good deal of our time on Skype. So we'll talk about creating an account. We're going to stick to the free options because there are some premium things that they have available, but we're going to stick to the free options. And we're going to talk about how we get the program or app on our device. Okay, and the reason we spend as much time on Skype as we do is because it's pretty universal. You can use it on anything. We will talk about FaceTime, which is only an Apple product. So we'll spend a little time on FaceTime. And then we're going to talk about some other ways that we could video chat with people. So that's pretty much what today's agenda is. Everybody's in the right place, right? We're all good? Okay. So what exactly is video chatting? Well, obviously video chatting is having video. We can see each other and we can chat, right? So talking with family and friends through video has never been easier. You can use either your mobile device with an app, or you can use your computer with a webcam. Most popular video chatting programs are Skype, which is made by Microsoft, and FaceTime, which was made by Apple. Video chatting programs do require an account. So again, those are the more popular ones. Skype is made by Microsoft. It's universal. I can use Skype on my Apple device. I can use Skype on an Android device or a Windows computer. FaceTime is only available on an Apple device. So, and you know what? There's a lot of Apple users out there, so that doesn't usually stop them. All right, so that's the basics of video chatting, kind of like the Jetsons. Remember the Jetsons? Okay. So we're going to start off by talking about Skype. Skype specializes in providing video chat and voice calls and instant messaging between computers, tablets, and mobile devices. Like I said, it's very universal. As long as you have the app or the program on your device, you can use it. Skype allows users to communicate over the internet by voice using a microphone or by video using a webcam. Online Skype to Skype calls, video chats, and messaging are free. They're free as long as whoever you're contacting also has Skype. So in order for it to be free, Everybody who is using it has to have Skype. Okay, premium features are not free. I'm going to mention those on a certain slide. I'm going to kind of point out what you can get with that. I'll be honest with you. I'm just going to assume none of you are going to really need those premium features. Like I said, we're going to stick to the free things. It has so much to offer free that that's, like I said, what we're going to stick to. So you can get voicemail. Again, if you pay for the premium features, you can get voicemail, you can have regular texting, and you can make calls to landline and things like that. Again, under these times when we're all kind of distancing from each other, sometimes doing a nice video call with some friends is a nice change of pace. It kind of lets you feel like you're really like hanging out with people, so it's nice. Anyone can use Skype as long as they have the program installed or the app downloaded to their device, just like I said. So as long as both parties have Skype, it's free. Any questions about what Skype is? We are going to talk more about it, but okay. Here are a bunch of the features that you can get with Skype. They're all mixed in. Like I said, most of them are free, but some of these are premium features. Skype to Skype, phones and mobiles, online number, conference calls, video calls. These are all different things that you can do with Skype. Okay, let's break it down. So, as I mentioned, we're going to stick to the free features, but just to give you an idea, for a fee, they have pay-as-you-go. You sign up for a subscription, and Skype Premium, which has a fee, you can make regular calls. I'm going to go ahead and say that this was pretty popular when some people were looking to maybe, first of all, if you travel a lot, if you're not always home, maybe you decided to give up a home phone. So maybe you decided Skype might have been a better fee than maybe taking your cell phone and putting some of these long distance pricing on. Long distance pricing on a cell phone is pretty inexpensive these days. So, I don't really know. You'd have to look into the details of this, but there's a really good shot you're not gonna have any need for these premium features, but they do exist. So again, if you were looking to get rid of a home phone and this was something that interested you, check it out. We are going to be concentrating on the free stuff. So again, if I have Skype and you download Skype on your phone, I can call you. If I'm in the Bahamas, which I really wish I was, wouldn't it be nice if I was teaching this class from the Bahamas? But anyway, if I was in the Bahamas and I wanted to hook myself up, thanks Trish. I wanted to hook myself up to the Wi-Fi at the hotel, I could check in with people for free. It wouldn't cost me anything. It's internet-based. Okay, so I could use my cell phone using Skype, and I could, like I said, connect to the Wi-Fi, and I could call people from home, check on my dogs or whatever. I could do that. It's free. This is all free. So as long as it's Skype to Skype, one-to-one video calls are available, but I can also do a group video chat with up to 50 people. Can you imagine? So you could actually have 50 tiles all on your screen and you could see everybody. You could have quite the family reunion, even though we're all trying to separate each other. So we could do that. We could do instant messaging. It's kind of like texting, right? But it's called instant messaging. And we also have screen sharing. Screen sharing, we're going to talk about a little bit more again later on, but screen sharing is exactly what I am doing. Right now, I'm sharing my screen with all of you. So I have this presentation on my laptop and I hit share screen, and that's how you're able to see this. So Skype has the same feature of screen sharing, which is pretty cool. So you can really do a lot with it. Any questions about so far anything I've talked about before I move on? Okay. So now we know a little bit about Skype. How do we get it? Where does it come from? Well, if I am using a mobile device, we're going to download an app. It's free, as I keep saying. Everything about it is free. If I have an Android device, be like a Samsung phone or an LG phone, I would go to my Google Play Store. If I have an iPhone or an iPad, I would go to my App Store. So you know who you are, and you'll know which one you should get. Okay, so we're going to start off by talking about if I had an Android device. It's done exactly the same way, except we go to a different place to get our apps. When we're looking at an Android device, we need to find our Google Play Store. This is what it looks like. Okay, we would tap on our Play Store. We would find the search bar, which is at the top of our screen. We would type Skype. Once I find Skype, I'm going to go ahead and click on install. I'm going to tap on it and I'm going to click install. It's really that easy. Like I said, it's free, so there's no fee whether it's an Apple device or a non-Apple device. Once I open the app, okay, I'm going to have a screen like this. This screen is pretty much what it's going to look like whether I'm on my phone, whether I'm on an Apple device, or if I'm even on my Windows computer. You're going to see that when I show you each slide. So when I open Skype, first thing it asks me for is I either have to sign in or create an account. If I'm a Windows 10 user, okay, so if you have a Windows computer and you have Windows 10, you have a Microsoft account. If you remember what your Microsoft account is, and believe it or not, I know there's a lot of people that don't always remember what it is, so don't be ashamed if you're one of those people, because I understand. So if you remember your Microsoft account, you could click this button and you could log in with your Microsoft account. If you don't remember your Microsoft account, or you're an Apple user and you don't have one, you're going to click the same button. When you get to the next screen, if you don't have a Microsoft account, you're going to click this little link here that says create one. Simple as that. So if you don't remember it or you don't have one, you're just going to create one. So far, so good? Okay. So let's say I have a laptop. And again, I'm talking Windows right now. Skype is a Microsoft program and it's already installed on a Windows 10 computer. So if you have Windows 10, you already have Skype. I'm just going to show you how to find it. If you have a Windows computer that's older than my Windows 10, maybe you have 8 or 7, you can actually just go to skype.com and you can easily download it from there. But assuming you have Windows 10, I'm going to show you there's one of two ways you can find it. You can either go to the search bar that's located in your taskbar right next to the start button, okay? And you can type Skype, and it'll show up at the top of your search window. And you would click on it, and there you go, it would open up. Or you could click on your start button, which is the button that's located all the way over on the bottom left at the end of your taskbar. You could click on that, and in the list of all the apps that you have, it's alphabetical. You would just scroll down to S and you would select Skype from there. So again, it looks like this. Okay? So you could click on it here or you could click on it here. Either way, if you have Windows 10, you already have it. Once it opens up, you're going to have that same screen that I mentioned to you before. It's a white background. It tells you to sign in or create one. So let's say you need to create a Microsoft account. Again, this applies to if you don't remember what it is, or you're an Apple user, maybe you don't have one. So I would come to this screen, and instead of logging in, I'm going to click on this here, this link that says create one. It's going to ask you for your first and last name, these items over here. It's going to ask you for first and last name, email address, country, and Skype name. I want you to think of Skype name as something that's kind of unique to you. I was not all that unique. I actually just used the beginning of my email address. Right before the @gmail.com, that's what I used as my Skype name. Your Skype name is something unique to you. So if you were thinking of just using your first and last name, there's a good shot somebody else might have that already. So if your name was John Smith and you said, I'm going to make my Skype name John Smith, well, there's a good shot somebody already is using John Smith. So you may have to use John Smith 3251 and make up a number at the end to make it unique to you. Okay, we'll talk more about what the Skype name is and represents and how to use it a little bit later. Okay, so you're going to create a Skype name, a password, and you're going to verify your account. They're going to send you a text with a code. It's making sure that you're you. Okay? You'll follow, so we click on create one, and we just really fill in the blanks, hitting next after each one. So far, so good. Does anyone have any questions about that? Like I said, it's pretty straightforward, and there's not a lot of information that you have to fill in, at least when you're signing up. So again, Skype on your Apple device, same exact thing that we did when we were on our Android, with one little tweak. We're going to go to our App Store, right? And we will still type in Skype, but you're going to notice you have two options. You can either download Skype for iPad or Skype for iPhone. Obviously, if you're using your iPad, you want to download Skype for iPad. It will size the app to fit that device. That's the reason that you want to use that. If you're on your iPhone, you want to open up and download or install Skype for iPhone. So that's one of the biggest differences there, okay? Everything else is the same. The screen is the same, sign in or create. We would click on that. We would either put our login or we would hit create one. Does anyone have any questions about finding and creating an account for Skype? Okay. Jump in anytime. Now, before I actually go into this video, what I'm going to do first is, and I think when I do this, I'm going to have to change my share. So bear with me. I apologize. I don't remember what I did last time.
Yeah,
You can't see where I am, right?
We can see your PowerPoint. If you go to your share screen, you should be able to choose.
Okay, this? No.
Yeah.
New share? New share. Okay, here we go. I might have to go there first. Let me open it first.
Yes. Yeah,
okay, there we go.
Open it.
All right. I apologize. I'm used to the other one.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I personally put Skype in my taskbar. So I created a little shortcut down here. It's called pinning to your taskbar. So I actually put Skype here. So it's really the same picture, and my shortcut is in my taskbar. When I click on it, it opens up. Now, mine, of course, I already have an account. I already had myself logged in for class, so I kind of took that fun out of you watching me log in. It was a joke. Anyway, when I look at my computer screen, it is obviously larger than a phone. So if I had Skype on my mobile device or my cell phone, I would probably only see, I shouldn't say probably, I'm only going to see this portion here on the left. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the different parts of the screen without actually making a call, because what happens is the audio of me talking through Zoom interferes with the new audio that I might try to use talking to Trish, and we'll get all kinds of feedback and it sounds terrible. So we determined we can't do that really, so we actually created a video to show you that part. So until then, I'm going to show you the parts of the screen. So once you log in, you're going to see your name at the top, all right? And I just want to show you where you can access your settings for Skype. So on the right side of your name, you're going to see 3 small little dots. When I click on those, it's going to open up a menu. Anytime we see those 3 little dots anywhere on the computer, that's what that means. It's always like a menu that comes up. I'm going to choose settings. Although we will not go through all the settings, I just kind of want to give you an idea of how you can maybe make some changes to it and where you'll be able to find that if you need to make any changes. So when I go into settings, first of all, one of my first choices under account and profile is a profile picture. And you'll see I did add a profile picture. It's nice to add a profile picture because it does help people make sure they're contacting the right person. So when you first download Skype, and you might be looking for other people that you know that have Skype, when you're searching for people, you might find some names, there could be 3, 4, 5 people with the same name. If they have a picture there, then you kind of know which one is the right one. Okay, so adding a profile picture to me is nice. Do you have to do it? No. Okay. Underneath that is where I'm going to talk about Skype name. As I said, my Skype name is nothing fancy. It's my first and middle initial and my last name. That's my email address. @gmail.com is my email address. So I just simply made it that. It was available, and that was that. What's nice about the Skype name is if you decide you're going to be a Skype user and you're going to contact people and you want to have these video chats, you might tell your friends and family, my Skype name is XYZ. That way, if they search for XYZ, it's unique to you. It's a very easy, direct way to find you. Okay, so that's what's actually nice about having a Skype name. Other than that, that's really the reason it's nice to have. So you can always let people know what your Skype name is. It does make it easier to search for you inside Skype. Like I said, the rest of this is all kind of things that you can explore on your own. But so these are where your settings are. Obviously, each of these are different information inside there. You can change your appearance, etc. Okay, so I'm going to come out of there. So like I said, this is me. I did add a photo, and below that is my search bar. I can always search for people, groups, and messages. I can search for people by their name, by their Skype name, by their phone number. Okay, so I can actually search in a variety of different ways. When you first download Skype and you create your account, Skype's going to say, do you want to import your contacts? You might say, yeah, that's a great idea. I did it. Here's the trick with that. Possibly, I'm going to click on contacts here. So we see we have these 4 buttons. When I click on contacts, the problem with it is, I don't know who here has Skype. These are just the contacts. So this does not mean that they all have Skype. Okay, so that's, again, they're in here. I now have their contacts. So if they decide to add Skype, I could call them. I could shoot them a text on my own and say, listen, do you have Skype? And if they do, then I have their contact information. But I just want you to be aware, if you upload from your phone, your contacts, it does not mean they have Skype. Okay. When I click on chats, this is going to show anybody that I have recently called or chatted with or anything like that. So these are like my recents. It's a nice way a lot of times to just find somebody quick when you want to call them back or call them again. So they're all listed here. Okay, and I can also do it by call. This is going to show me only calls over here. Okay, now, if you take a look at the right side of my screen, this is that instant messaging that I mentioned on the slide. I can always, at any time, now Trish, this is Trish who you spoke to already. She's on our call here today. Anytime if I feel like writing to Trish, I can always send her a quick text here, or as they call it, an instant message. When she opens up Skype, she'll see that she got a message. Oh, look, here it says, hello, patrons of Emma Clark. So what she did was just what I'm going to do. I come down to the bottom. Anybody here that's ever sent a text or an instant message, it's pretty straightforward and the same thing. I type my message right here. Right? And I can hit my enter key to send it, or I can come down here to where the send message button is, click on that, and it should send. Oh, yay. Right, so she also sent an emoji, which is very cute. How do I do that? Again, so you're going to explore these things a little bit on your own. I could click on the smiley face. Oh, that's a fun one. And here's all the different emojis. It has GIFs. It has stickers. I know my kids make fun of me. I have no idea if it's GIF or GIF. I have not gotten a straight answer out of them. They just make fun of me, so I call it a GIF. So
yeah,
we have all these.
At this point, both work fine.
I don't care. I was gonna say,
yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying it wrong or what, but they won't answer me. They can't believe like that I even asked. So anyway, so you can always change it. You could, you can send just like I said, like any other type of texting app you may have used. So here's this guy. Did I do it? Come on. No, I don't want you to wait for me. It's like seems to be like stuck. Anyway, so you see you have these things and you just simply would send it. Now, if I wanted to, because we're here for video chatting, right? If I wanted to video chat Trish or anybody here on my list, okay, I could click on them. So this is This one here happens to be my sister. I know you don't care about that, but okay. So I could, if I wanted to video chat her, I could just click on her over here. And I could look at the top of my screen and find the video camera. As I said, I'm not going to click on it because we'll get all kinds of interference sounds. But if I click on this button here, it's for video call. That means if she answers it, I'll see her, she'll see me. You have to have your hair done maybe put a little makeup on. If you don't want to do that, you can always use the audio button. So this is an audio call. I can still talk to her, but she can't see me. If I do a video call, she could actually answer it without the video on. So she doesn't get to, I don't get to see her, but she could see me if she wanted to. So these buttons here are just strictly, this is for video. This means you can only hear, okay? Only hear in audio. The last button here is how I could create a group. What's a group? Well, I mentioned it earlier in the presentation. We can actually have up to 50 people on one call, which I just can't even imagine all the talking over one another that would be if it was 50. But I've had like 7 or 8 people at a time, and it's a lot of fun. I've had a few different times throughout this pandemic that I've had some video calls, and you know, it's fun. It's a nice way to catch up, because if nothing else, it's a little lonely. I think we all probably could agree. So when we get to kind of see people and have a reason to do our hair, it's great. So I could always, once I go in and let's say I do a video call with Trish, I can always add other people to it by clicking on this button, and I can add other Skype users to our call. Again, they have to be Skype users or I won't be able to add them. Does anyone have any questions about anything on the screen before I go back into the presentation? Okay, so when I go back into the presentation, I want you to assume I clicked this button and I called Trish, because that's really where it's going to pick up. And then in the video, I'm going to go over the parts of the actual video screen. Okay? So now I have to change it again, I think, right? Let's see. All right, you can't see this. And I go to New Share. And I'm going to go here. Are we good? Can you see Let's Go Live? Perfect. Okay, good. All right, and so here's the video. So this is just a few minutes long, and then we'll chat some more. Where's my mouse? There we go.
Karen? Karen, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear the video though.
Why?
I don't know.
Is it? Is that better?
Oh, that's better, thank you.
Say hello.
Can you, is there any way that you could start that again?
Top left of my screen.
You know why I think that did that? I'll start it again. Because
Thank you.
my headphones were in.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Here we are in the live Skype window. I'm going to start here on my top left, where we'll say hello to Trish. Hi there. Okay, so in the top left of my screen, it tells me who I'm speaking with. And that's Trish in the center. When I move toward the right of my screen, we'll start with this very first button here. I click on this button. This actually tells me that I'm currently in window mode. I have the option to enter full screen. It kind of removes the title bar, shows me a little bit more screen. So I can kind of convert between that and window mode. The button right next to that, which has the silhouette and the plus sign, this is the button that I'm going to press when I want to add more people to my video session. When I click on that button, I get a list of all my contacts that are in Skype. I can always click on somebody and click on add. And as you know, we can actually add up to 50 people in a video chat. I'm not going to do that right now. So that would be this button here. This just is a little reflection of yourself. So this little window over here is me. And as I add more people to my video chat, they'll show up in the center and they'll kind of tile around Trish. Let's move down to the bottom part of the screen. Before I continue, you may notice on your own screen, Skype window, sometimes you'll be sitting there and you'll be chatting and all of a sudden your control buttons disappear. It's only because your mouse has become inactive. As soon as I move, they pop back up again. So that's why they're gone. So I'm going to start in the very bottom right corner where I have these 3 little dots. This is my more options. When I click on more options, we're going to talk about some of the things that pop up. First one being start recording. Start recording is, I could actually record our chat session and save it. I could share it with other people or just have it as a funny memory. Maybe somebody was going to tell a funny story. I could record the session. Okay. Underneath that, we have something called turn subtitles on. So if I turn subtitles on, it's going to start reading off my screen, spelling out what I'm saying right onto the screen. Keep in mind, it doesn't really know the New York, Long Island accent very well, so it doesn't always have, but it's a really nice feature that Skype offers for anybody that maybe has a little difficulty hearing. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to turn subtitles off again. The next one is blur my background. So I'm going to ask Trish. You see she just blurred her background. This is a great feature if either you want to keep what's behind you private, or if you have a mess behind you, or a lot of us are working from home nowadays, so maybe you don't want to show your personal space to the people in the office. Whatever the case may be, that's what blur my background is meant for. You click on it and it blurs your background. Below that, we have something here that says hold call. So if we're on a video chat and we need to step away for a few minutes, maybe we want to hold the call. We can actually click on that and it'll put us on hold. We do have the option of muting a little bit later. I'll talk about that button. So really you have either option, but this is where putting the call on hold would actually be located. We're going to move across now a little bit to the left to this throbbing heart. Okay, I could click on this heart and it just shows me some fun emojis I could share with Trish. In this case, it's Trish. If I had other people, I could share it with them also. So if I come over here, she loves me. So she shared the heart. I'm going to share with her. She always makes me laugh. So I click on the laughing emoji and I get a screen full of laughter. Right, so they're just fun, silly things we can do. The next button here is our share screen. So share screen is also a really cool feature, free. All of these things are free with your free subscription to Skype. Sharing screen means, let's say I'm having trouble with something on my computer. Maybe I'm having trouble with my email. Something I need to know how to do. I might want to get in touch with Trish on Skype and share my screen. This way, whatever I do on my computer, she can see me and she can say, oh, you know what you need to do? Click on this, and then click. And she can actually walk me through it because I shared my screen. That's another really cool thing. If you are having somebody help you with something, sharing your screen and recording it is a great way to be able to refer back to how you got to answer. Okay, so that's share screen. The final button over here is our open conversation. It's our chat bubble. So we can chat just like any kind of texting that you might do. And we can also send emojis in here. Okay, Trish says hi. And I'm going to send her fun. Okay, so I clicked on the little smiley face and I picked one of these little emojis and I hit send. Again, it's fun. This chat window is available whether I'm in video or even if I'm not. You can actually do the chatting outside of a video chat. Let's move along to the center of our screen here, right by Trish. This red button is the last one we're going to work with. It's the button we use when we want to end a call. This button here, which has the picture of the video camera on it, notice it says turn off video. I could always click this button and turn the video off if I wanted it to be just an audio call. She could still hear me, we could still speak to each other, but the video would be off. I also have the ability to mute the call. Okay, so again, if I said, somebody started talking to me in the background and I could mute my microphone and she wouldn't be able to hear that, and I turn it back on when I'm finished. So that's what these three controls are for. Lastly, let's take a look over here. We have this button here for take a snapshot. It's always fun when you're having a group chat to take a picture of everybody, right? So if I come over here and I click this picture, it takes a photo, and there we are. If I want to see the picture better, that's lovely of me, isn't it? I could always click on it and make it bigger, but it takes pictures, and then it's just for fun. All of this is really just in good fun. That concludes our video on Skype. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back in just a sec.
Sorry, I just had to put my earbuds back in. Okay.
That was great. Thank you.
Any questions at all about anything regarding Skype?
Yes, please feel free to unmute your mic and ask any question. I know some of you are using an iPad, so if you had any questions about how Skype works specifically on an Apple product, we can help you out. If anybody has any trouble finding it in the App Store, I mean, we're here to help, so ask your questions. I mean, we did get one question in chat, and I just want to share it.
Okay.
We got a question from Arthur. He just wanted to make sure he knew how to find settings. And I believe he has an iPad, so I showed him both computer and iPad.
Okay.
On the computer, when you're looking up at the top of your Skype window, your profile name is there, and then you have 3 dots. When you click on those dots, it brings you to settings. On an iPad, you simply just click on your profile icon in Skype, your actual profile name, and that again will bring you to settings. So I hope that answered his question regarding settings. But does anybody else have any questions?
Again, if you think of something,
Yeah,
feel free to go ahead and either just ask or type it in the chat bubble. At this point, we're going to move on to Apple's FaceTime. Apple's FaceTime is a little bit more direct. It really is just either a video or an audio call. So a video and voice messaging application available for Apple devices. So again, if you have an iPad, an iPhone, or an Apple computer, they all have FaceTime already on them. FaceTime can only be used with other FaceTime users via their Apple device. So by the way, for example, I have an Android phone. Okay, so my cell phone is happens to be a Samsung, but I do have an iPad. Now, my iPad doesn't have cellular service, not to make everything confusing, but the fact that I have an iPad, I do have FaceTime, and I can connect to other people through FaceTime. I do have it. It has nothing to do with having an iPhone. It has to do with the device. It has FaceTime. It's connected to my Apple account and my email address, etc. So that's why people are able to find me, because I have an Apple ID. Okay, so FaceTime is specifically for Apple devices. What you need to know about FaceTime. Your Apple ID is your username. No membership or screen name is necessary. You already have it. It's on your device. You can switch from front to back camera. So again, that's kind of a cool feature. I could be, having a chat with somebody, and I see something and I want to show it to them. Maybe I see an exotic bird in my yard and I want to show it to you. I could actually take my camera and I could turn it around, so now I can show you whatever's in front of me. But don't worry, I'll always press the button so you get to look at me again. But anyway, so you can switch from the front to back camera. You can search for friends and family by entering either their name, email, or phone number. Okay. FaceTime can be turned off in settings, and it is not compatible with any other video apps. It's strictly FaceTime to FaceTime, Apple to Apple. Okay. A little note about the fact it can be turned off in settings. Sometimes with, we think maybe sometimes after doing an update, it sometimes happens, but for some reason, sometimes people have trouble using FaceTime. It's not working. A lot of times we find with troubleshooting, the reason is because somehow it got turned off in your settings. So if you're having trouble using it, if it's not connecting to people, go into your settings and make sure it's on. It might have gotten turned off, and you're just going to switch it to being turned on, and then you'll be able to use it again. Okay. Any questions about FaceTime, the basics of FaceTime? I'm going to show you another video. I'll unplug my headset this time. I'm going to show you another video because, again, the same issue would happen. I can't use two different audios at the same time. So it is a video that's just going to kind of walk you through it. It's shorter than the other one because, like I said, it's a little more straightforward. So here it comes.
To begin, open the FaceTime app on your device. Tap the text box at the top of your screen and type in the name, email address, or phone number of one of your contacts who also has an Apple device. When their name appears in the search results, tap the video camera icon to make a video call to that person, or tap the phone to make a voice call. You can also call someone on FaceTime through their contact entry in your iPhone address book. To do this, tap Contacts on your home screen. Then tap the search bar at the top of your screen and type in the name of the person you'd like to call. When their name appears in the results, tap it once to open their contact information. Tap the video camera icon to call them on FaceTime. Then wait for your friend to answer. When they do, you can tap this button to switch between the front and back cameras on your device. Tap the microphone to mute or unmute your microphone. Tap the red phone button when you're ready to end the call. If you want to view your FaceTime call history, tap audio or video at the top of your screen to see a list of calls of that type. You can tap someone's name in your call history to call them again. That's it for our tutorial on how to use FaceTime on your iPhone or iPad. Check out our FaceTime.
Let's stop that. Okay. Good.
Okay. Did it move? No. There we go. Okay. Now, I had to leave that slide because otherwise the video will just start up again.
Just give me 1 second,
Sure.
Karen. Just a couple of questions in the chat window I wanted to address.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that Arthur could find settings, because he was the one who asked about that earlier. Second, he wanted to know about changing the Skype name. Unfortunately, you can't. Microsoft just doesn't allow it. And I really don't know why. It is a complaint that people have sent to them. They just don't allow it. The Skype name is your Skype name, unfortunately.
I would imagine the only way to change it is changing your whole account, right?
Yeah,
Creating a new account.
and which is what I actually did. I actually did that years ago. When I got a new email, I just created a new Skype. So unfortunately, that's the answer there. We did have a question on how does Skype differ from Zoom? And I think we're at the part now where we're going to talk about additional video services. So we can discuss that in a few minutes, if that's okay, Florence. Thank you for the questions.
Okay, so we're good to move ahead. That's no other questions about FaceTime?
That was what was in the chat.
Okay, that's fine. Well, it is a very straightforward thing. There's not a lot it does. I will add this to it though. In that box, the video showed you how you can add, how you could find somebody. You can also Skype. Now you have to help me remember this. I think you can have a group of FaceTiming. I think you can have a group of 28 or 30 people with FaceTime.
Yes, I think it was 30. I think it was 30.
Did we say it on the last one?
Yeah, I think it was 30.
It's on here somewhere. I think it's 30. It's 30, or like I said, it's 30 or 28, something like that, 32. But so you can also create a group in FaceTime as well.
And to give you a fun story, just because it's graduation season, a couple of years ago when my daughter was graduating high school, her friends the way that they had them set up is they had them facing each other on the field, facing each other with the graduation platform in the middle. So they were facing each other, but they also wanted to sit near their friends and they couldn't. So my daughter and about 10 of her friends actually FaceTimed on their phones during the graduation ceremony so that they could kind of be together.
Really? That's pretty funny.
I mean, they didn't chat, but they could see each other.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
may have texted or whatever.
Right,
Obviously,
right.
they weren't being disrespectful or rude, but she felt like she had her friends sitting with her, which I thought was just so 21st century.
It
you know,
really, so it
Yeah.
really is.
I think we answered Miss Shaw's question about how many participants. I think it was 30 or 32. I
It's
apologize
something
for not
around
knowing
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're
Okay.
caught up on all the questions. But
Okay.
please feel free to ask more. We're here.
So now we have additional video chatting apps. So obviously we spent a lot of time on Skype and we spent a little time on FaceTime because again, it's very specific to Apple and it's pretty direct. It doesn't do a lot of different things like Skype does. So here we are, we're kind of all still socially distancing a bit. And so are there other ways that we could chat with people? Of course there are. We can get together. So we're going to talk about these 4. So we have here House Party, Zoom, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger. Are there other video chats out there? I have no doubt that there are. But these are 4 that we've tested, we've approved, they're safe, and they're free. So there you go. So we'll start off with House Party. So again, House Party is a video chat. It's free. It's more casual. So, you can just pop in and see if anybody's around and, invite people to join you, people that you are friends with, people that you know. Okay. And you can kind of kick back and chat with people in there. One of the nice things House Party has is, let's say there's a few people that are in House Party and they may be from different friend groups. Like, for example, you could have like maybe, I don't know, a sister-in-law that you don't really want to chat with, but she has a House Party, and you're in and you're talking to a couple of your friends and all of a sudden the sister-in-law that you really don't want to join all of a sudden joins all of you and you're like, ugh, and she takes over and she talks too much and, House Party has has a lock on it. So once you have in the room the people that you want, you can actually lock it so that other people can't join it. Okay, so that's always nice. So that's a nice feature. So House Party limits it to 8 people per chat. So only up to 8 people. And the really fun thing about House Party is you can actually play good games, like not silly games like we're going to talk about in Facebook, but you can actually play like good games. So if you ever enjoyed having like a game night with your friends where you'd have people come over and like play cards or play Pictionary or something like that, you can actually do that in House Party. Again, it's a limit of 8 people. But it's really a lot of fun. They have trivia games. They have Quick Draw, which is really like a Pictionary. This one's a lot of fun. So you don't have to play a game if you're in there, but it does have that option. So it kind of takes the video chat and kind of gives it a twist of giving you something to do, so that I like that for that reason. I don't know, does anybody have any questions or has anybody ever used House Party?
We don't have a question specifically about House Party, but in chat, we did have a question. I just want to make sure that I'm not sure I understood it, and I sent the reply to Ms. Shaw in chat, how to take a picture if there are more than 2 participants. So I'm just trying to clarify with her if she meant just take a screenshot while you're in video chat, unless I'm just misunderstanding her question. So
I'm good. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so if it is taking a screenshot, it doesn't matter how many people are in the chat with you, depending on what chat service you use. You simply, whatever's up on your screen, you can take a screenshot with your device. And it's different depending on the device. Usually it's holding down the home button and the power button on most devices. If you would like to know exactly how to do it with your device, just reply and let me know what device you're using, if I'm getting your question correctly. Again, I apologize if I misunderstood it.
But
Ms.
also,
Shaw.
for example, in Skype, you can take a picture of
Yes, they
anybody
have
who's
that.
in your,
Yes.
so a lot of these things like Facebook Messenger has it. I
An
believe
actual button for
FaceTime
screenshot.
does.
Good.
I believe FaceTime also has it. And I don't know if House Party has it. Do you have? I don't know if you know. Again, it's one
I
of
never
those
noticed
things
it on
that,
House
yeah,
Party,
exactly.
but I've just used my screenshot function.
And that's what I was going to say. If it doesn't, if the app you're using or the whatever you're using doesn't happen to have a place, a button to take a picture of the group, just do a screenshot. So some of these apps and programs do have a button that you can actually take a picture of the whole group, no matter how many people are in there. If it doesn't, because like I said, I'm not 100% sure if House Party has a button to take a picture, but then in that case, you would just do a screenshot. Does that make sense?
Yep, and I think that's what she was referring to, so I think we're okay.
Okay, good. Good deal.
Please let us know if you need any more information about that. Yeah.
Okay. So again, a House Party, as I said, is free.
Oh, hold on.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, you wouldn't use, this is Ms. Shah, you wouldn't use your camera button on your cell phone when you're in FaceTime. You would either take a screenshot. I'm trying to remember if FaceTime had a screenshot button. I'm an Android user, so other than my iPad.
I don't have my iPad with me in here, but I think when you're in FaceTime, I think it has a button that you could take a picture, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I'm going to find the answer to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you have
and
it,
I'll get back to her.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's definitely
I'm curious too. I would normally have grabbed it and looked at it while
it's definitely not your camera. It's definitely not your camera. Yeah, it's definitely not your camera. So Ms. Shah, I'll get back to you specifically. I'm assuming this is an iPhone. So, okay, because it's FaceTime. Okay, thank you. I'll look up the answer and get back to you.
Okay, good deal.
Sorry for the interruption, Karen.
Yeah, no, it's relevant. It's all fine. I told you, first of all, nobody ever apologized, Trish, for asking questions because I am sitting here in a room all by myself, talking to myself most of the time. So I welcome anybody that has a question or a comment or, hearing about your weekend plans. No, I'm kidding. Not now, maybe at the end. Okay, so always good to ask questions. So that's pretty much it. Again, you're going to check out House Party and you're going to, again, these are just different things. It's something to do. It's something to do. And then once we finally can really get together with people and we're sort of back to a new normal, you may still want to use it. You may get rained in one night. You don't feel like going out. You may have a snowstorm. These are good things to have and have access to, right? Maybe somebody's not feeling good, so you want to cheer them up, have a house party. Okay, so moving on from House Party, I'm going to move over to the right. We'll talk a little bit about Zoom. Right now, we're all in Zoom. We're using Zoom for this class. All right, so Zoom is the latest video chatting program. The free version has a 40-minute limit. So if you personally at home decided, you've seen commercials for Zoom and the library uses Zoom, so you feel comfortable with it, and you decide, I'm going to download Zoom, I'm going to use it because I think it's safe, it must be safe, and I heard it was free. So you download Zoom and you do a video call with somebody, right? They have to have Zoom for that, okay? So you do a video call with them. And it's one person. It's you. Maybe you called me because you heard I was bored all the time. So maybe you Zoomed me. And we sat and we Zoomed and chatted and video chatted for hours. You might be thinking, I thought she said it was only a 40-minute limit. 2 people is unlimited. 3 or more in the free version does cut you off at 40 minutes. And it literally does. It suddenly just ends. It doesn't give you really any warning. I don't think it gives you a warning anyway. It's over. Could you go back in and create a new 40-minute video call? Sure you could. So if Zoom cuts you off because you have the free version and you're all chatting and having a good time and then all of a sudden it stops, you could just start a new one. And after 40 minutes, it'll cut you off. That's how that works. The paid version is actually, I'm actually not going to say what the pricing is because I don't really remember, but from what I remember, it's actually pretty reasonable. It's not as expensive as I expected it to be. But still, you likely don't need to pay for it because remember, Skype is free. To me, I don't know why you would, if you needed to have longer than 40 minutes with more people, why would you pay for Zoom. It would get cut off. I would just use something else that gave me unlimited time. So that's up to you. Zoom is great. The schools are using it. The businesses are using it. I mean, it's a great tool. And it does have some little things in it. Like, for example, we showed you in Skype how you could blur the background. In Zoom, you have the feature of you can actually change your background. You can make it look like you're in outer space. You can make it look like you're in the jungle. You can put your own picture back there, so you can make it look like this way it keeps your background private. Maybe you didn't have a chance to do the dishes this morning and you have a video call. Well, you change your background, nobody can see it, right? So you have that feature as well. And as you know, it does have the chat feature. It has some of these other things. We can ask questions and answer questions, and etc. We can also share our screen, which again is what I'm doing right now. I'm sharing my screen so that you can see the presentation. So we could do all that in Zoom. Just keep in mind, whenever it's more than 2 people, it does cut you off in the free version. So again, the app is free. And it's great for people. Many businesses use this because it's great for people working from home. Okay. So any questions about Zoom? Actually, being we're in it, probably a good idea. It's a good time to answer questions and find the answers to whatever it is that you needed to know. No? I always joke and tell people when you ask questions, I can take a drink.
I'm here. You can take a drink because Arthur does have a question. I was just reading it and I forgot to unmute my microphone. So I'm multitasking.
Nice.
Okay.
That's fine. I took a drink.
So Zoom, God bless you, honey. Zoom, he has Zoom on his iPad where he's been a guest like today. Can he use it to host a meeting? And the answer is absolutely yes. The only restriction is you would be a free, what they call a basic user on Zoom for free. And you can host and invite any other individual person to a Zoom room with you, and you can stay in there for an unlimited amount of time. It's only when it goes, if you invite a third person, that the free basic account limits it to 40 minutes. And that's just their business model. So you absolutely can host a Zoom meeting with one other person, unlimited for free. And we could, I'm trying to think, basically when you open up, instead of being a guest and being invited, you would go to zoom.com. You have to create an account because I don't think you need an account when you're invited as a guest.
Right.
So
No, you don't. Correct.
Yeah, your name, your email address, create a password, just like you would for any other account you ever use. And then when you go to zoom.com and log in, the main screen right there says start a meeting, join a meeting, and you'll basically just say start a meeting and invite the person you want to chat with, video chat with. So I hope that answered Arthur's questions. Okay. I'm still speaking with Ms. Shaw about screenshotting if there's more than 2 people for FaceTime. I'm not sure. When you screenshot, it's not an actual button that's in FaceTime. It's the buttons on your phone. So depending on which model iPhone that you have, you would either hit the home button and the power button at the same time. You would hold them down together at the same time. If you have the newer, let me see, and I apologize because I don't know the new, off the top of my head, I don't know the new iPhone.
Without the home button?
Yeah, I mean, I did know it, I just forgot
I think, again, and anybody who's in the room that
it's the volume, it's the volume and the side button.
I was going to say, I believe it's the 2 buttons on the side is what.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's the volume up button and the home button on the newer Apple phones. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Great, thank you so much. That's what I was double checking.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not a physical button on FaceTime itself. It has to be the screenshot buttons that are on your phone. And
Okay.
depending on which model it is. So I hope that helps Ms. Shaw. What happens is, depending on, the FaceTime app that, well, not the FaceTime app that you're using, depending on the size of your actual phone, sometimes you can easily see 5 or 6 people in FaceTime on a phone, but at some point it's going to be too many and you're not going to see everybody.
Right.
But I'd say up to maybe 4 or 5 people, you should have no problem being able to see all the little faces on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's different for me for an iPad because it's larger. So
Right. Oh,
it
definitely.
works a little bit different. But I hope that helps her out. If not, Ms. Shaw, we can always speak offline. You can email us or we can call you.
Yeah, I can always go back to that first screen so everybody can get our email address.
A few more questions just to answer real quick. How do you change the background in Zoom? That's actually easy.
I can show you, I think, right now without actually doing it, I think. Right?
Well, this is technically a webinar, so I don't know if
I
it's
maybe
allowing
won't be
us
able to do it.
those
Okay.
features. I'm just not sure. But normally when you're in your Zoom room, you have controls at the bottom of your screen, and one of the controls is video. And when you're in video, you click on the arrow and it says video settings. Actually, it's letting me go in. So
I was
maybe
going to say,
do that.
I can see it. I see on mine, it's I guess you can't see this, right? Because it's not part of it yet.
Settings, yeah.
So when mine happens to be at the top. So when I see a picture of a video camera, and actually mine has a line through it because I'm not showing video, but next to that button is a drop down arrow, or if yours is on the bottom, it might be a drop, an arrow pointing up. When I point at that arrow, I get a menu, and one of the choices is choose virtual background.
Yep, perfect.
And I'm going to do it because, it's not like I won't find this. If I click on that, the only problem is you probably won't see this because I'm sharing the other thing. Right? You can't see what I'm looking at, can you? You still see the slideshow?
Yeah, it's not going to show.
Okay, so that's fine. All right, I was going to say, well, at least it shows you where, hopefully you'll understand. So when you find the video camera, you're going to find that arrow right next to it. And when you point at it, you're going to choose virtual background. And like I said, I can't really go through the steps because you won't see them anyway. But when you go in there, you can also upload your own photos to it. So that's pretty cool. But it does come with some.
The next question we have regarding Zoom is, how does the meeting ID determined? I believe on the free account, you can have a personal meeting ID, and that can be used. Or you could just create a brand new meeting, and then every time a new meeting is created, you get an individual unique meeting ID.
They create it. Mm-hmm.
So that's just determined within the system when you actually create the meeting. And how do I notify the guest with the meeting ID? Okay, so the easiest way is, once you create the meeting, it's going to ask you to invite, I believe is the term. It may even say copy. I apologize if I don't remember the terminology.
Right.
But when you're creating the meeting, it's going to ask you to invite or share that information with somebody, and then you can type in their email address, and they will get all the meeting ID information on how to connect in the room with you. And I think that answers all the questions.
Good.
Okay.
Well, again, keep them coming, and we'll move on to WhatsApp for now. We can always come back to Zoom, or anything else that we discussed in this. You can always ask more questions.
One more question.
Sure. Good. Okay.
We have the time, so I hope you don't mind me. So I believe Florence is asking a question, which again, I just want to make sure I understand it. She's talking about adding a couple of different programs to the chat, and I believe she means sharing. So if I'm wrong, please feel free to chat with your mic or answer me in chat. As long as you have
artwork, adding artwork and such that you have on your Procreate.
Right. So if you have the program Procreate or the Adobe Suite on your computer, and you have your art open in that, anytime you share your screen, it will share specifically whatever programs you have open. Or do you mean to physically
make it your background?
Add it? Do you mean to physically add it into a chat, like add it as an attachment in chat? Is that what you meant?
Well, I had a teacher with Zoom who was able to outline and erase, things like that.
On a piece of artwork that they had shared on their computer
Right,
through
on a
Zoom.
photograph.
Yeah, so those are all, yes, that's all possible. And when you're hosting a Zoom room, as well as, and some of these other virtual rooms, there's additional instructional options for what you see on your screen. Some of them can use things like what we would call a whiteboard, or they would just use editing tools. I don't know if we have that ability in here for the webinar. And I apologize for not knowing that. I'm just not used to the webinar portion of Zoom. But in a regular Zoom room, the person who's sharing their screen can edit, like you said, they can circle things and do all that. So that's possible. So the person sharing the screen, they would look at the top of their screen, and I'm trying to get the exact terminology, so I apologize. Zoom editing, I'm just Googling it real quick because I want to make sure that I answer it correctly. Editing features. Okay, I think I got it now, so just give me 1 second. Annotation tools, I think they're called, and whiteboard, I think that's what they're called. They're tools. They're editing annotation tools, and I believe it's at the top of the screen. So if you're the person who's in the chat with somebody and you're sharing your screen, there's tools at the top. It's pretty evident. You would just have to click around a little bit to see what the editing tools are. I hope that answered your question. It's not something we could show live in Zoom right now, because it's settings within the sharer's account. I hope that answered Florence's question.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're going to move on, or do we have any other questions?
No, I think I answered everybody. I'm just trying to make sure I did that. I answered everybody. Okay, yeah, I think we are caught up.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're good.
So moving right along, we'll talk quick about the last two. We have WhatsApp and we have Facebook Messenger. So again, this screen is all about other apps that we can use to do video chat. They are all, now Zoom can be used on a computer or a mobile device. WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger really, and House Party, will really need to be on a mobile device. Okay, so WhatsApp was originally a chat and messaging app, which now also has the video chat portion to it. The video chat is limited to groups of up to 4 people. And of course, like all the others, the app is free. So WhatsApp has a few things that make it a little bit interesting compared to the others. So again, the video chatting, you'd be up to 4 people. I think it's more well known for its typical messaging that it does. It's a lot of people use it as their texting app because it has a really high protective, I can't think of the wording I want to use. It's very highly, help me, Trish. It's very safe to use. It's very encrypted. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes,
okay.
Encrypted. Yep.
Yeah. So it's very safe. You can actually, use that to send documents, etc. And the thing that I had discovered about it was, if you ever have a need to send video back and forth, you might notice it's sometimes, video can be too large to email. It could be too large to text. And I don't mean a motion picture. I mean something that might be 5, 6, 7 minutes long. You can actually use WhatsApp to send that type of a file. So that's another thing that you can use with it. You can actually create chat groups inside WhatsApp, so you can have specific chat topics that you can, use so that it's not your main maybe texting app, but maybe you have a group just for recipes. Maybe you have a group for, if you have a book club, so you have different topics with different people. And, anytime somebody has the urge to share something or question something, maybe TV shows is one. So WhatsApp can be fun for more than just the video chat. But like I said, the video chat is also available. I think they're all doing it. And it does cap you at 4 people. Okay? Last but not least is Facebook Messenger, which originally was the private messaging that you could get through Facebook. So Facebook, of course, being social media, anything you type on there is generally out there for the public to see, or anybody who that person is friends with, you know, depending on everybody's settings. But if you wanted to send a private message to somebody, you would use Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger is also an app that can be downloaded on a mobile device. Okay, you do have to have a Facebook account to use it. It does work on your computer, but the mobile device version of this, the app, has some extra little fun things. So you could go on your computer, go into Facebook Messenger, and you could video chat with friends. When you use the app on your mobile device, it has some extra little things that you could do with it. What are those little things? Well, it has filters. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's a little ridiculous, but it's fun. I actually have had a lot of fun in Facebook Messenger during this quarantine time. So it doesn't have really good games like House Party has, but it does have silly games. By the way, you can also have, I believe it's 50 people in a video chat on Facebook Messenger, which again, that's a lot of people, but you could do that. And it has these very silly, like 30 to 60-second games, okay? Catching rings on your head, or eating, you know, virtual hamburgers, or catching them in your mouth, or they have these, like I said, silly, you have to move your physical body to avoid, you know, hitting the rocks, like the different things like that. And you compete against whoever else is in there. It's something different. See, in my opinion, while we're all kind of staying away from everybody, it just changes it up a little bit for you. It gives you something else to do. So the games, like I said, they are silly. And so are the filters. But like I said, they're fun. And they make for funny pictures. The filters are very similar to, if you've ever seen or heard about Snapchat. Snapchat kind of was first really well known for the pictures that you could take with them and all the different filters you could use. So you could take a picture of yourself and you might look like a dog, you might look like a superstar, you might look like, you know, whatever. They have all these different filters. Well, so does Facebook. So while you're sitting there chatting, like, and this is what we would, and it was fun. It was totally ridiculous, but it was very funny. And you could just be talking and all of a sudden somebody would like turn into a slice of pizza, you know, and it's funny. And then you could go over and you could turn yourself into whatever, you know, you don't control what other people look like. You're only controlling your own filters. Like I said, it just changes it up a little bit, especially if you turn it into a happy hour. I mean, it just, like I said, it just gives it kind of an element of a little bit different than the typical chats. We've all been home. A lot of us have been home a lot, and you kind of run out of things to talk about. So sometimes having these other little things in there, the games or these filters, kind of, like I said, freshens it up a little bit. So does anyone have any questions or comments about WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger? Like I said, I recommend, you know, try them. You know, but again, like we said with Skype, if you wanted to use one of these, whoever you wanted to use them with also has to have this software, okay? So if you wanted to use Facebook Messenger, you have to make sure somebody else has Facebook Messenger before, you know, they have Facebook. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it. Same thing with House Party. Everybody downloads the app, creates their little account. It's going to ask you for an email, you know, login and a password, and you're good to go. Okay. But now again,
It was great.
Feel free to, any questions or comments about anything we went over. It's your turn.
Let's see. I think I'm just keeping up with chat. I think we answered everybody's questions, unless someone asked one. Let me just scroll down here. No, I think we answered everyone's questions. I know it can seem a little overwhelming as to why do we need all these different video chats. In a way, they sort of fall into their own little categories. Like Karen said, House Party is kind of more fun and casual.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom is you know, more for office meetings, and, you know, all the kids are using it for school. They
Correct.
Zoom with their teachers and stuff. Skype is the OG in a way, right? The original.
Mhm.
FaceTime is just specific to Apple. So they all have a sort of a little bit of a different niche that they follow. Because I know someone said, what's the difference between Skype and Zoom? I think that was a question that was asked earlier. You know, Skype is, for the most part, a majority of its features are free. Zoom
think
is
it
only
just-
free. Yeah, for Zoom is
Yeah.
only free for one-on-one
Right.
video chatting conversations. Once you add a third person into the mix, it's a 40-minute limit. So it's a little bit more restrictive there. Personal preference too.
I was gonna say, I think Skype, being it's been around longer, I just think it kind of fell through the cracks. I don't know. I think it really offers you so much for free.
It
You
has a
know.
whole business.
Yeah.
It has a whole business
Yeah.
angle now that is used. You know, Skype rooms they have now, and business. It's still used, yeah, widely in that respect.
Can you guys hear me?
Sure, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I thought the same thing with Skype. It's something that was forgotten. And a lot of our patrons actually have used it in the past. I've gotten a lot of questions on the Skype. But
Good.
it's funny. It's like everyone just totally forgot about Skype.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what happened.
The library uses Zoom because
Right.
that's just something we looked into and we felt comfortable using. You know,
Mhm.
the security of it, believe it or not, it has stepped up its game. It's pretty good. You know,
Right.
things encrypted now, and we, you know, have invitations, so it definitely does help. So yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think Skype only recently added their Skype rooms
Mhm.
because they had to compete, you know, with Zoom and
Right.
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know, before with Skype, it was just one person at a specific, you know, time whenever they wanted. They would just sort of like FaceTime, you know, not really scheduling something per se.
yeah.
You know, in a casual atmosphere. I'm not talking about using it for business. But then they started the Skype rooms. So I think that's them just trying to compete with the new kids on the block.
Right.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Exactly.
Well, this was a great class, and we did have a lot of questions, so I do appreciate that. I hope everyone got the answers that they were looking for.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, guys. You guys are awesome. Really.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. We like this. We like this.
It shows. You know, that's what I always say. You love what you do, everyone's going to notice.
Mhm.
Right. And thank you for helping us out with Arthur. I'm glad Arthur was finally able to hear
Yeah.
us. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Also, I just want to let everybody know, you know, if you have any questions, please reach out to either Bob or myself, Jen, at techhelp@emmaclark.org, techhelp@emmaclark.org. We're here. Well, you know, this is what we've been doing the whole time. And, you know, virtual backgrounds with the Zoom,
Oh.
that's so easy. I totally go over anything. So,
Oh, and Jen, we have the class next week too.
yes, we
At 1
do.
o'clock.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. That is the, what is it? Is it
Social media, Twitter,
media,
Instagram, and
right?
Snapchat.
Excellent. And that is, you know, something I don't even have my calendar on me.
1 o'clock on June 2nd.
1 o'clock on June 2nd. Yep. So if you haven't registered and you'd like to join us, definitely
Okay.
register.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. I
Take
really
care. Have a good day and a good upcoming weekend.
Yes.
Bye,
Hopefully we'll
everybody.
see you
We're
next
getting-
week.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of goodbyes and thank yous in the chat. So thank you for coming, everybody.
Yes.
be safe. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.